Hello, welcome back to Fleet Signal. My name is Alex, and today I'm going to take a look at the Commander upgrade sets for Halo Fleet Battles. These are special packs that were included into the September 2015 releases shortly after the original September 2015 releases were announced, which were the Fleet Boxes for Halo Fleet Battles. And Spartan very kindly put these packs up on the Spartan Games store, which is the only place where you can buy these from. You can't buy these from from your local store. You have to order these direct from Spartan. And they kindly put these up for existing players who didn't want to spend £50 or so on a fleet box just to get the new heroic characters and commanders that are in the fleet boxes. So you'll find these these new guys in the fleet boxes if you buy one of those, if you want more of the ships. But those, the fleet boxes only have starter ships in them. They don't have any new ships. So if you just want the new cards, the new characters, you can buy one of these commander upgrade sets for a vastly reduced price. So today I'm going to have a look at each one. As you can see, there's nothing really special about the packaging. It's just new stuff in a bag. Because this isn't supposed to be displayed on a store shelf. This is for players who know exactly what they want. They play the game already and they know they just want the new stuff without any excess ships, and then later on you can buy more ships if you want to, but if you don't want to, then these packs are ideal. So let's have a look at each pack in turn, starting with the UNSC. Okay, so let's have a look at the UNSC pack first. So as you can see, it's just a bag, just a plastic bag with stuff. Although a bag like this can be, useful for maybe storing things, or put your rule book inside when it's raining, and you put it in your mini bag pocket and taking it to the store and all that kind of stuff. So inside you get some more command dice, or sorry, order dice. You also get the new, the new cards, the new character cards, which are Lord Hood and Cortana, which we'll have a look at in a second. Put that there. You also get stats, new stats for these, which are the overlays from the core upgrade sets. So if you buy one of these packs, you don't have to buy the core upgrade set in order to get the new overlays that were announced at the end of August, I think, end of July, end of August, something like that. Yeah, you don't have to buy the core upgrade set. You can buy this pack and you will get all of the new overlays plus the stats for the the new formations. So let's have a look at the characters. Okay, so first let's take a look at Lord Hood, Fleet Admiral Terence Hood. So on the front of the card, you've got artwork of Lord Hood himself. All the artwork on these cards on the front is done by 343 Industries themselves, as far as I know. So this is pretty much as canon as it gets, and if you play the Halo games, you'll also see him in the video games as well. And on the back, we've got all the stuff that he actually does. So at the top here, we've got Fleet Admiral Lord Hood, 120 points. He is a fleet commander, so if you want to take this guy as your fleet commander instead of Michael Stanforth, then you can do. Spartans 0 to 1 per full 1,000 points, 4 VPs KIA, which means that for every 1,000 points of fleet that you take, you can take one Spartan, and if that Spartan is killed, it'll give your opponent 4 victory points, and each Spartan costs 100 points. If you want to take one Spartan and Lord Hood, then that package will cost you 220 points. Now moving on to the standard orders, he's got focused attack, which is the same as Stanforth's focused attack. You can re-roll up to 2 attack dice when you are attacking. He also has Do What It Takes, which says that an element may roll a Halo dice during the repair phase. On the roll of a 1 or a 2, the formation may remove a single damage marker from its base, and you do this during the repair step of the end phase, which is particularly good for UNSC ships, because if you've played the game, you'll know that once titanium armor breaks on a UNSC ship, in other words, once they take the first damage marker, then you can't use titanium armor anymore to defend that ship. That shield roll is gone. So if you can take away the damage marker and restore titanium armor on a UNSC ship, then that's good for those ships. So Lord Hood lets you do that. And form up, again, same as Stanforth's form up. It lets you take 2 battle groups that might be a bit weakened, not doing much, form them into 1 battle group, and bring them back to fighting strength. Now his special orders are Inspiration, which lets you remove all vulnerable markers from all elements in a selected battle group, which could be relevant in some game situations. And Engage in Strength, which says once per turn, Lord Hood can call a general attack order, allowing up to 2 standard battle groups to activate together, performing their respective movement and attack segments as if they were a single battle group for the remainder of the game turn. So you basically take 2 battle groups and you count them as 1 big battle group for the purposes of this order. It's important to note that you can only use this with standard battle groups. You can't do this with specialist groups. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, especially if you're building a so-called Big Mac list where you're building mainly for Mac cannons, you're trying to maximize the Mac rating of your ships, then this can be particularly brutal, especially against larger ships. When we see the CAS come into the game, and the Infinity and ships like that, then the bigger ships, the more like the tougher ships, then this will be a particularly good order to do, although it does cost 3 lightning and a Spartan helmet, so it's pricey, but it can pay off. And Lord Hood's unique ability down here says Lord Hood is unflappable under pressure and measured in all aspects of his command. He can choose to add +1 to the initiative dice roll each turn to help you to win initiative. So that's what Lord Hood does. Let's go and let's move on and see what Cortana does. Okay, so here we have Cortana, one of the most popular, most well-known characters in the entire Halo universe, and who is also now part of Windows 10 because Microsoft. So on the front of the card, again, you've got artwork of Cortana. There's lots of artwork of Cortana, available out there. And on the other side, of course, you've got all the all the stuff that she can do. So let's take a closer look. Okay, so at the top here, we've got Artificial Intelligence Cortana, 80 points. She'll cost you 80 points to add to your fleet. She doesn't give you any Spartans. She's a heroic character, which means that you add her in addition to your fleet commander. So you take a fleet commander like Lord Hood or Michael Stanforth, and then you can add Cortana to that fleet as well. So you don't take her instead of Lord Hood, for example. You take her with a fleet commander like Hood. And and you also notice that she's got 3 of these blue outline squares on the side here. In the game, any order dice that's placed on a square like this can be shared with other characters that you've taken in your fleet. So you'll see that Lord Hood has 1 square down there, and Cortana has 3 squares. So she can share any of her dice with the fleet commander that you take. So let's see what Cortana actually does. So she has Ghost in a Machine, which costs Lightning Shield Spartan, and it says Cortana can hack into the command and control network of the enemy battle group. For this turn only, reduce all firepower ratings, all attack firepower ratings of an enemy battle group by -2. So she actually reduces the firepower rating of a battle group that's attacking you, which is pretty cool. The defensive option, which costs a shield, increase the firepower rating of a defensive roll made by a capital ship by +1 this turn. And she's also got Missile Command. Cortana takes control of missile targeting in a battle group and removes the stipulation for any missile barrage to target the closest enemy when firing into their forearc. So normally when you use missile barrage, which is basically firing missiles on the UNSC ship in the forearc, normally you have to fire at the closest target to that ship if you're using missile barrage, but Cortana removes that for you if you use this order. So you can fire at something that's further away in your forearc if you choose to. So she gives you that option. It also says assigned. This heroic character must be assigned to a specific formation base within the fleet at the start of the battle, so you'd probably want to put her on a ship that has a high chance of surviving, maybe a bigger ship, a tougher ship. You don't want to put her on a frigate base, for example, because she won't last long. But having said that, her unique ability says that Cortana is resourceful and cunning, and her survival is a priority for the UNSC. Should the element containing Cortana be destroyed, roll a Halo dice, and on a roll of any result other than a skull, Cortana may be placed on a nearby friendly vessel within 12 inches. Should Cortana roll a skull, or not have a formation base within 12 inches, then she's destroyed, and the enemy fleet gets 4 victory points. So she can, she does have a chance of surviving if she manages to get to a friendly ship, if you've got a friendly ship within 12 inches, or if you don't roll a skull. Otherwise she would be destroyed. So that's what Cortana does. Let's move on to the Covenant cards. Okay, so let's have a look at the Covenant Commander upgrade set. So once again, it's in a bag, and taking stuff out of the bag, we'll see what we have inside. There's a formation overlay that's come apart. Okay, let's put this back to one side. And you can see that we get some order dice. Put that to one side for a second, we get the new cards, the Minister of Etiology and Zaitenjar Watrani, which I've probably mispronounced already. So you get the new cards. You also get some stats, which are for the overlays. And yep, yes indeed, one of these has already come out. So yeah, basically you get the overlays from the core upgrade set. So again, if you don't want to buy the core upgrade set just for the overlays, you can buy this pack and you'll get the overlays in this pack. So let's have a look at these guys, the Minister of Etiology and Zaitan. Okay, so first up, Zaitenjar Watrani, who is not as well known. If you've played the Halo video games and stuff, you don't really, he isn't mentioned, I don't think, in any of the games. But to people who've read the Halo books, they'll know all about Zaitan and what he's about. Basically, he is was an extremely high-ranking Covenant admiral. And if you read the Halo book, The Ghost of Onyx, then you'll find out all about him and what he is about in his story. So on the front of the card, we've got, again, artwork, which I believe is done by 343 Industries. So it's fully canon. And on the back, you've got all the stuff that this guy does. So let's have a look. Okay, so we've got Imperial Admiral Zaitenjar Watrani, 120 points to add to your army. Again, this guy is a fleet commander, so if you don't want to take Roborutami from the starter set, you can take Zaitan instead. He gives you 0 to 4 zealots per full 1,000 points of fleet, and if any of those zealots are killed, they'll give the enemy 1 victory point, and each zealot costs 25 points. So a package of 4 zealots plus Zaitan will cost you 220 points, which is equal to taking Lordhood and a Spartan. So let's go on to his orders. He has Focused Attack, which is the same as Ro's Focused Attack. You can reroll 2 attack dice when a battle group is attacking. Power to Defenses, which is actually, again, the same as Ro. An element may reroll a single initial defense array die rolled by an element. And he's also got Form Up. Again, the same as Ro's Form Up. Take 2 battle groups, put them into one with a rating of no more than 6. If those 2 battle groups are kind of disheveled and they're kind of weakened and they're not really fighting strength, put them into one battle group and bring them back to fighting strength. So this side of the card is essentially the same as Roborutami from the starter set, but the difference comes on the other side of the card. The special orders: perfect time to strike. The Covenant fleet automatically gain the initiative this turn. What might be a bit confusing, I guess, is if both players are playing Covenant and they both use perfect time to strike. Like, what happens there? Who gets the initiative? I guess that's something that Spartan Games is going to have to FAQ or enlighten us on. Superiority is increase the security detail rating of all zealots in a fleet by +2 for the remainder of this turn, which can be useful if you're playing against a boarding focused fleet. And it's nice that something like this does exist in the game. So if you have a player, if you have a meta in your local meta, if you're lucky enough to have a local meta, local Halo Fleet Battles meta, that you know, and people are playing lots of boarding fleets and, you know, UNSC boarding fleets and stuff like that, then, you know, it's nice to be able to have this order to, you know, kind of counter those fleets. Which basically, I mean, increasing the security detail basically makes your zealots, you know, better, makes them tougher, makes them hit harder. So you can do that with Zaitan as well. And his unique ability says, a gifted military opportunist, Zaitan Jar Wattenry is capable of taking advantage of the slightest flaw in an opponent's plan. During the execute order step of the orders phase, he can force the opponent to re-roll a single order dice each turn, but the second result must be accepted. On the one hand, he is the same as Ro on one side, but on the other hand, he has different special orders. So it's basically up to you and how you're building your fleet, how you're going to play your tactics. You know, it's up to you how to make the decision on whether or not you're going to take Zaitan or another fleet commander. So that's Zaitan. Let's have a look at the Minister of Etiology. Okay, so the Minister of Etiology is from a graphic novel, a Halo graphic novel called The Last Voyage of the Infinite Succor. So again, if you've played the video games, he probably won't be familiar to you. But if you voraciously consume all other types of Halo media, including the graphic novels, then you'll be familiar with the Minister. So on the front, again, artwork, canon artwork of the Minister, and on the back, the stuff that he can do. Okay, so here we can see Minor Prophet, Minister of Etiology, 80 points to add to your fleet. He'll give you 0 to 2 zealots per 4,000 points, and each of those zealots will give your opponent a victory point if they're killed. And each zealot costs 10 points. So this guy not only gives you cheaper zealots, he's also a heroic character that will give you more of what the fleet commander lets you take as well. Unlike, for example, Cortana, who doesn't let you take any extra Spartans. He's a heroic character, so you take him in addition to your fleet commander. And he's also got only one sharing box, I guess you could call it, on his dice boxes. So you can only share one dice, one of the minister's dice, with other cards in your fleet that you take. Unlike Cortana, which lets you share all 3 of her dice. His special orders are 2 shields for prepare my transport. Basically, this is the same thing that Cortana can do. If he would be killed, you roll a Halo dice, and on any result other than a skull, you can move him to any friendly formation base within 12 inches. If you do roll a skull, if there's no other ships within 12 inches, then the minister is destroyed, and your opponent gets 4 victory points. It also says assigned, which basically says that you assign him to a ship, to a formation base in your fleet. So usually you'll want to put him on a tough ship. You don't want to put him on a weak ship like an STV Corvette, because if that ship, if that formation base goes down, you lose the minister potentially. And he's also got another command called Protect the Minister, which costs 2 energy swords, and says the minister may force an enemy firing solution targeting his own formation base to retarget a different member of his battle group, even if a loadout would require the formation to be the nominated base. Missile barrage, for example. So if your opponent's targeting the ship that the minister is on, you can use this order, spend the dice, use the order, and that attacking formation has to target something else instead. So that not only protects the minister, but it also protects the ship that he's on, and makes the ship that he's on a little bit more survivable. And his unique ability is, while utterly self-possessed and concerned only with politics, the minister claims a high rank within the Covenant hierarchy and can bend even fleet commanders to his will. After any initial order dice have been rolled during the order dice phase, the minister may change a single friendly Covenant dice to any result. So that's basically any cards you've taken, fleet commander, heroic character, whatever. If you've got the minister in your fleet, then you're trying to get a particular order, then basically you use his unique ability, and you change the dice to whatever you need. So I like the minister. On paper, on the surface, I suppose, he doesn't look like he does all that much, but I think in play he's going to be quite a useful character. Okay, so those were the contents of the command upgrade sets, which are available directly and only directly from the Spartan Games web store. I think they're well worth picking up if you want a bit more variety in your Halo Fleet Battles games, because you do get the additional overlays, and you get the the new commanders and heroic characters, the first heroic characters in the game actually, as well. And as I said earlier, if you don't want to buy the fleet boxes, then these are a good option as well, because the fleet boxes cost £50 each-ish, 45, 50, depending where you buy them from. And they give you more of the starter ships, whereas each of these packs will only cost you £12 each directly from the store. So, you don't have to, spend more money on more ships unless you actually want those ships. So yeah, overall, I'm happy that I bought them, and I'm happy that I can, now, add a bit more variety to my Halo Fleet Battles gameplay. Okay, so that was a look at the sets. As always, leave a thumbs up or thumbs down on the video depending on how you felt about it, and be sure to subscribe to stay up to date with new videos on the channel and to support the channel as well. You'll also find Fleet Signal on social media and on fleetsignal.com, where articles have begun to slowly appear on the site, so go and check those out as well. And be sure to share this video with anyone who you think might be interested in it, who might be interested in the content. Okay, that's all for now. Until next time, see ya!